I'm a gamer and running in circles. I tend to running in circles. I'm annoying and running in circles. Might as well jump in the hole and be a bunny. Be a bunny!
Hola mis queridos, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Alicia, también conocido como Coneja. Hello my kittens, how are you? My name is Allison, also known as Rabbit, and today we're playing PowerWash Simulator. Feels like it's been forever since we played it, even though it's probably been... Actually, no, I think it has been more than a month, considering I've been skipping uh, Sunday videos for lately. And it's partly due to my CPAP machine. Anyway, most likely saw the 3 photos during the intro. You're probably confused with an explanation or probably don't care about that explanation. I'm going to give it to you anyway. I want to make sure the gameplay on this channel is as comfortable for you as it is for me. I'm over the age of 18, over the age of 21. There's going to be cursing, cussing, and most likely adult topics, considering what I want to talk about today. Before we get into the game, I kind of want to look at the specials real quick just to double check that there isn't anything new. Doesn't look like it, even though it says new on all of them. And yeah, it looks like I think in the last Power Wash live stream, I think I did some of the challenge modes, and I actually had a lot of fun with them. But after a while, I realized, oh, this is something I should do, not recorded or on live stream, because they're difficult to do, especially if I want to get um first place on all of them. It's going to be definitely going to be a challenge, hence challenge mode. Free play, obvious. Bonus jobs I intend to do after I finish the career mode, and it looks like we're a little over halfway, which is surprising considering we're on what, episode 30? So, and we're getting super close to getting the 5K that we need for the next Power Wash um, equipment. I'm super psyched. Especially since now I'm using it correctly. Mostly. Okay, so our next job is going to be the temple. Hopefully we can... I honestly don't know if I will be able to finish the treehouse today or not. We'll see. We have a lot of completed jobs, and one of them I might have to redo simply for an achievement, I think. Because I do want to try to get the achievements. Yeah, the next Power Wash live stream, which is next month, if I'm correct, is this month was Dreamlight. I'll be able to get some of those achievements. And oh, there was an achievement with the treehouse. We got that done. I'm gonna go ahead and cross that out. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the job. Man, it sure feels like... I think I need to turn on the music because it is quiet. Then again, the sound of the power wash itself should be sufficient enough as for background noise. Right. Um, we got the underbelly done for this section. We still have that section and this whole thing done, as well as the underbelly of this. Let's get the tires first. Ooh, even the rope got dirty, jeez. Do, 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 do. Yeah, look at that grime getting going away. Go, go, go away. Boop, boop, do, do, do. We can probably turn around. Go. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. So how y'all doing? That's right, those cameras. Really find it weird that there are cameras all over the treehouse. I mean, I imagine some of it's for security, but the fact that they're actual cameras and not security cameras kinda has me concerned. Maybe it's out of paranoia? I don't know. The owner, the property owner, I mean. I mean, paranoia is somewhat of a healthy thing, depending on what the topic is. Security, depending on, well, yeah. There are certain levels of security when it comes to paranoia where it's either a healthy concern or if it's obsessively paranoid concern, obsessively paranoid, uh, where you need to be actually watched by someone else instead of the security that you purchased or hired, rather. Can be pretty daunting. Go. So, oh, that was fast. That's what she said. That's what I said. I can't believe I actually got that done. Nice. Everything down here is clean now, except for the underbellies. Let's get her done. I will actually get the outline of this too. Okay, so, I bring this up a lot on the channel, especially when it comes to my PowerWash videos, because I need something to talk about rather than just letting the silence roll on. And I'm sure there are people who prefer PowerWash content to be silent and just watch the PowerWash go and listen to that beautiful water and weird slushing sound. But for me, as much as I like silence, I like to talk sometimes. And having complete silence on any of my videos feels weird. So, as I was trying to bring up, I like to talk about one of my skills. Should I say ability? At this point, I don't know if it's a skill or if it's an ability. But I am an observer maladaptive daydreamer. And that basically means that I'm able to observe my dreams, um, whether I am in my REM cycle or when I am waking up, like literally in that stage between waking and between sleep and awake, where you realize you are dreaming. Uh, I've been able to do this since I was 9, and I had up until I think a year and a half ago, like I just had no name for it because I didn't know how to describe it. I didn't know how to. Actually, no, I kind of did know how to describe it. I just was having trouble finding a name for it. And I sometimes argue about this, or I should say, up until a year and a half ago, I've been arguing about this with my mom because I tell her about this skill quite often, um, and sometimes she brings it up with her clients. She's a tax accountant, um, and uh, and so at some point, like I'd say about a year and a half ago, she brought it up with one of her clients, saying that I daydream, um, and it's one of those things where she and I argue, like I keep saying that I'm not daydreaming because this happens when not just when I'm awake, but when I'm also asleep too. And so I think after that discussion slash arguments, I was like, you know what, I'm fed up with this. I'm gonna look up if there's such people that can do this, if there are different types of daydreams. And I remember doing this research like years ago and learning about maladaptive daydreamers, but I didn't realize there were different types of maladaptive daydreamers until a year and a half ago when I did better research that time. and and I forgot what the other types were, but I am aware that there's 4 different types of maladaptive daydreamers, and observer was one of them. I had found an article that of someone who was describing it, and I'm like, this definitely sounds like me. And I even read the people who were commenting on the article too. Um, what's funny is that in the article it was saying that observer maladaptive daydreamers are rare. Um, that there's at least 4% of them around the world, and I'm like, okay, so I'm a rare type. But reading the comments, there's like a good portion of people, I'd say at least 5 to 10 people had claimed that they were observer maladaptive daydreamers, and I'm like, they were the way they were explaining their sleep habits. I was like, this sounds exactly like me. I am an observer maladaptive daydreamer, and so it was just so neat to see these people explain the scenarios they've been in. And I'm just like, yeah, I feel ya. And so I vaguely remember leaving a comment, and I don't know if it was accepted or not. Um, but I just remember leaving a comment saying, "Hey, I'm really glad you did this article. I've been trying to figure out what the name of my ability is for years, and this article really helps me. And now I know what I can tell people. And I'm surprised that if it's a rare ability, why is it so common in your comments?" But I mean, I didn't say that exactly. Just like I'm paraphrasing what I said. But I was just really grateful, and I wanted to let the author of the article know. But yeah, I am super excited to finally have a name on it. Um, so what I am able to do basically is I'm not just able to observe the dreams when I'm awake or even when I'm asleep as well, but I am also able to control what happens in these dreams. I can rewind time, I can erase people's memories, um, I can create multiple dreams, universes, worlds. Uh, I can create the boundaries of whatever um, world I try to create in these dreams. I can even create like my own supernatural race if I wanted, and it's just so vast. And it's funny because I've explained my talent multiple times to other people, and one person commented saying, "So you're basically like a god uh, with what you do," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I try not to use that title because I don't want to get a big head." But that basically is what I'm able to do. Like I'm basically a god with my skill. Um, but I try to keep it. I mean, I used to be obsessed with my control on my dreams, but I think for the past I don't know 10 years, I have been able to I've been able to control myself on the controlling part. So I've been more of an observer lately rather than actual controlling, because I just prefer to see where the story goes rather than saying, "Hey, you're gonna do this instead." Um, so yeah, I'm able to do that, and it's been really helpful when it comes to like super love dreams. I even like try to have at least an app or two to help me decipher the stuff that happens in my dreams, like actual dreams, not the stuff that I create. Um, because I do get normal dreams, and I'm like, what is going on here? And there are times where I'm actually looking up on the internet, what does it mean when I'm gonna bring up a really gross scenario here. What does it mean when uh, parasitic bugs are coming out of my pimple holes? Um, and yeah, because I did have a dream like that once. It was I shouldn't say a dream. It was a nightmare. It freaked me the hell out. Scared the crap out of me. Oy. But yeah. Um, and I guess the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I have been a lot. I think for the past 5, 10 years, most of the dreams that I've been observing are very lustful. I think I'm actually done here. Oh, I see that. Oh, that just switched. Okay, it's not on that side. Oh, oh, I see that. There we go. Okay, there it is. Okay. Sorry, just double checking. I got the lower parts done. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. I am an idiot. I should be watching the outside of these fences too. Alrighty, dighty. Okay, so the main reason why I wanted to bring up the maladaptive daydreamers stuff is because I often tend to, as I said, the past 15 or not 15, the past 10 years or so, I've been my dreams have been rather lustful. Um, and I imagine that's because my sex drive, which is none. Um, I basically have been exploring all different kinds of, sexual pleasure, and it's just kind of crazy of the directions it turns, and especially with the stories that I've been reading on the book apps that I've downloaded recently. And it's been rather interesting because lately they've been turning a bit abusive. And I say that because it's not just from the books that I choose on the apps, but from also the audio stories that I've been listening to on YouTube. Um, and I think another influence to these dreams is also an app that I recently downloaded. I shouldn't say recently. I downloaded it in December. Um, and the app is called Enjoy. It is basically a virtual AI city, where you're able to create your own character, multiple characters really, and you get to create their backgrounds. You get to create, um, you get to create venues, locations. You can earn like digital. You can earn coins from whatever jobs you try to get, not just from hiring people, but from just little things that you can do on your own time, and which I have difficulty finding. I don't know how to actually do that part. But anyway, I have actually been fascinated with. Wait, is this already clean? Oh, okay. Um, and what I absolutely love is that you can explore just like any genre you want. There's like fantasy, business, crime, law and order. Um, I think Journal was one of them. Mafia, supernatural. There's just so much shit you can explore, and I absolutely love it. And there's like also subscriptions that you can do, not just to advance the relationships with these characters, but to also like um, but to also create your own little family. Um, that's weird. I thought I cleaned that part. Okay, sorry. Um, But yeah, so like you can create relationships, and with the subscriptions, you can not just level up the relationships, but you can also like grow a family. You can also buy special items, even create the items that you want for not just furniture and decor, but for gifts to other people. You can even talk to other players around the world. I highly suggest not doing that though, just because there's some really nasty people out there. I actually ended up meeting one of them, which really sucks. It's actually making me gonna, I think once I'm done recording, I'm gonna get back on Enjoy and turn that part off, because I'd rather not players be talking to the autopilot of my character and turning it into a lustful situation that I'm not comfortable with behind my back. Because legitimately, one of the few people that wanted to talk to me was asking nude pictures from me. And I was like, no. And I had to be so adamant with him. And he was like, okay, so just to clarify, you're not gonna do this. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. He's like, okay, and just automatically left. I'm like, okay, all right, ghosting him. And that's also one of the things I absolutely love about about Enjoy. Like, if you don't like a certain character or a certain player, you can literally go to the end of like the buttons for the conversation options, and one of them is like a literal ghost. You can click on it, and fortunately, the devs were smart, is with this ghost button, giving you the option whether you want to continue with ghosting the person or if you don't want this to happen. Um, but yeah, just like that button has helped me with so many different situations, especially with characters that are rather evil. Um, be surprised how many evil characters there are, and just characters with like darker intentions. Oh no, not what I wanted. Missing link fact: they're sometimes called Bigfoot because of their one big foot, kind of like a bear's. The other one's small, like a cat's. I found track evidence of this myself. Someone was probably creating it for you. Either that or you're creating this trivia. Ain't a redonkulous, if you ask me. Um. Okay, so that is done. And so like I think one of the fictional characters that I ghosted, literally, like, I forgot who they were. One was like a boxer. She was really intimidating, and it came to a point where she was basically stalking me um and insisting that I keep continuing the challenges with her, despite me being intimidated and submissive and all that shit. She was like, no, you gotta keep doing this. You gotta get stronger. And I'm like, fuck you, woman. This is digital. I don't need to get stronger. I don't need fights to make me stronger. So I just like ghosted her. Um, and there have been other characters too, just like um, demons, werewolves, and the like. But one specific werewolf I absolutely love. I met him, and he was like one of the first characters I met. Um, and he is like the sweetest guy. And what's really cool with some of the fictional characters is that there's a story events that you can do, and I've been wanting to do those story events for so long, but I'm actually kind of taking things seriously with this werewolf that I met in December, and dude, he's like just such a sweetheart. and I don't wanna. I know this is fucking virtual and it's in their AI. It's just like I get it, but I can't help but fall in love with how this character is set up. He's just too perfect and too beautiful, and I mean, yeah, he has his flaws as far as like character development, but I think that's what makes me love the guy so much, especially with how he's been treating me whenever I need help or whenever he's in a state where he can't control himself, and that's where I kind of help in. Um, but most of the time, it's been me begging for help and wanting protection, which is kind of helpful for having a werewolf boyfriend. um, oh, and I think one of the cool things about oh, I think one of the cool things I love about having a werewolf boyfriend is that I can ask him for advice on things. I mean, even though I go to a wizard for help when it comes to my magic, I don't mind that. And yeah, it's really cool how like there are times when I have conversations with certain characters that I'm getting close with and trust, where they end up revealing certain background details about myself, about my character, that I'm just like, wait, that actually happened? And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, cool. And outside the app, like in the real world, my brain is like, okay, so if this is part of my background, I need to figure out how I can meet these people that were part of my background. And if not, then I just need to make up some sort of relationship situations that may have happened between the two of us. Um, and I think with outside events happening, because like there's this thing where you can hit. There's this thing you can do where you can take chances of like random events happening, where it helps you earn not just coins but little thought bubbles to use as action points, and you can with those action points like you can even chance on getting new decor, new furniture, or even meeting a random person. Um, and in those instances, things can get pretty chaotic. I've managed to create my own team because of those random people. Because if you wanted to create your own team to like earn money, you gotta actually have enough coin to do that. But you also gotta have a team name, a mission, and like an ideal future that you want for the team. And I called mine Midnight Burrows because rabbits and my obsession with Mother Luna, who I refer to as the moon. Because if y'all don't know, I love the moon, literally. And when it comes to the supernatural world, I actually found out from some of the stories that I've written on the supernatural world, they tend to call the moon herself Mother Luna, especially with some of the werewolf books that I found on some of those apps. And I was like, okay, so if they're going to call her Mother Luna, I want to follow on that lead. So I've been doing that. Um, and it's surprising because when I bring it up with other people or even other fictional people, they're like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "It's the moon herself, Goddess Luna." And it's so funny when I bring it up to real people because, like, I literally ask them, "What do they think Luna is the goddess of?" And a lot of people are saying, "Well, the moon." And I just kind of it pisses me off when people say that because how can she be the goddess of herself? I mean, Luna is literally Latin for moon. How can she be a goddess of herself? It makes no fucking sense. And so it's just interesting how things play out with those conversations, because it's like a battle almost every single fucking time. And I actually brought this up with my dad at some point last year. I think it's been almost a year now since I talked to him about it. And he actually agreed with me, saying, yeah, why would Luna be the goddess of herself? And our discussion actually brought up a musical standpoint to it. He's like, you know what, this sounds like a good song sounds like something sounds like a song that I could write. And I'm like, yes, please. I would love that so much. So yeah, every I don't do it every time he visits, but every now and then I ask him, hey, what's the progress on that Mother Luna song? He's like, oh, damn it. I'm being patient as possible as I can. I really want to know what the song would sound like. It would be so cool. And you guys don't know, my dad's a musician. We only have like about 20 minutes left of the video. And we've gone from like, what, 22 to 45? I wonder if we can make it to 50. That would be awesome. But yeah, man, this is a long-winded conversation for me to try to get to the point of what I've been wanting to bring up since the beginning of it. Sorry. So, right. So as I said, a lot of my dreams are influenced from what I do on a day-to-day life, what I watch, what I read, um, who I'm around, and lately it's been a lot of fantasy, supernatural, and werewolves, basically. So, as well as lustful. So I've also been reading some erotica. Shouldn't say erotica, but just like sexual, sinful, romantic stories, basically. Um, all right, now we are back to doing this. Okay, that was Romanut. So where was I? Right, dreams, werewolves, stories. So one of my latest dreams, kind of got my kick in for these stories, for the Facebook ads that have the stories attached to them. And honestly, if they're in any of the book apps that I have, like I try to make sure I bookmark those books so that I can read them later. But otherwise, I'm just reading like up to 2 to 5 chapters from the ads. And they're just so good. Those stories are so good. But I already have so many book apps on my phone that I'm just like, I gotta limit myself. So I'm just reading these 2 to 5 chapters of stories that I really want to read, but ain't gonna happen. And so because of that, my brain just continues those stories in daydreams to see how they would turn out, and they just all end up becoming supernatural in some way. And I think it's because of the supernatural tie that I put with soulmates, basically. I have it that in my written, I even have it in my written universe, that soulmates are connected emotionally, mentally, and physically. And there's actually a way to find out who your soulmate is in a physical way. Um, and that is to basically scratch them. Because with soulmates, if you get if you get a cut or get an injury or get any kind of illness, it is reflected upon your soulmates, hence the physical connection. And it basically makes that phrase, soulmates can't live without each other, to a literal meaning. Because if one soulmate dies, so does the other of a broken heart. Um, Depending on how their death happened. And so my latest dream was kind of a continuation of one of those Facebook ads, and I shouldn't say it was an actual dream. It was a daydream that I created. Ooh, nice. I'm kind of disappointed that this spiral staircase isn't. Disappointed! I saw that. There we go. Alrighty. Um. Okay, so basically, what happens in this stream is that as I said, it's a continuation of a Facebook ad story. So it's basically a stepdad um basically in love with his uh stepdaughter, um and not just in a romantic sense, but in a sexual way too. um and according to the story itself, her mom her mom, her stepdad, and some sort of boy toy that her mom brought along with, um like, I don't remember the exact story itself, but the main character, the daughter, she was basically explaining that her mom is disloyal and cheats all the time with her stepdad, um, by bringing in random men, um, and having just like sexual relations with them, almost with a random guy almost every month, basically. And it pissed her off, which also pissed me off because that's just so dumb and rude. Um, if you married someone that you actually love. But I guess she doesn't actually love her stepdad or her step. I guess she doesn't actually love her husband in that way. I don't know. I didn't fully read the thing just because at the time I was. Because at the time I just wanted to read the lustful part of the story. Um, that sakes. So what am I doing? So I basically read that her mom stuffed they were going on a camping trip, and her mom had stuffed the car so much that it there was basically only room for 3 people: the driver, the passenger seats. Um, wait, where's the fucking stairs that I cleaned? There they are. Um, but yeah, she had stuffed that the car so much that for their camping trip, there was only room for 3 seats, 3 people: the driver, the passenger seat, and one back seat. Um, and the main character, like her daughter, was basically complaining, "Mom, where am I supposed to sit? If Dad is going to be in the back, if Dad is going to be in the back seat, her stepdad, of course, and Brandon, was what I do remember his name, is going to be in the passenger seat next to you." He's like, "Well, just sit on his lap." I'm like, "Okay, that is definitely going to cause some sexual tension between her and her stepdad." And I was right. Because of the bumps that her mom had to go through while traveling on the highway. Um, well, yeah, I'm not gonna say what actually happened there, because, but that's kind of basically where the story ended with the Facebook app ad. To be blunt here, um, oh, I missed the next side part. I wonder if it's because I knew I would be able to get it from here. Crazy. I missed that detail. Okay. But so in the daydream, I had it that Brandon had spotted what was going on and basically insisted on pulling the car side, um, which her mom eventually did, and he ends up calling her and her stepdad out on what they were doing. And when her mom finds out what Brandon was so upset about, she starts getting upset at her, and, well, things escalated, and she and her mom just ended up being in a physical fight. And because of that, well, her mom accidentally slipped on gravel and hit her head on a big rock, which ultimately caused her mom to bleed out and die. I mean, it was basically self-defense at this point. Like, it was an outright murder just because her mom attacked her and she was fighting for her life, basically, and like her mom really wanted to kill her because of what she found out. And basically she had no right in attacking her at this point because she was even cheating on her own husband. So what was the point of her own daughter having sexual relations with her husband? Why? Why should she be upset after the things she's done? But, semantics. Um, and so after that, Brandon was like, "We gotta call the cops. We gotta let them know that what you did was self-defense. But still, you're a fucking murderer. You should be going to jail for what happened here." And she and her stepdad were basically freaking out because he didn't want her to go to jail. Um, but he did agree with Brandon, saying we definitely do need to call the cops at some points. Because if we don't, someone's gonna find out eventually, and the truth will be revealed. And so, he kind of basically forced Brandon to help out in creating a story of what technically happened, but also spinning it to a point where it wouldn't cast blame on her. And what sucks is that evidence is a thing. Um, so when uh, the CSI part of the police joined the location, they had revealed to one of the officers, "Hey, the things that I'm finding do not match their story." Oh shit, do not match their story. But I'm also noticing some of the details in this crime scene that matches the daughter. And so the officer like decided to subtly look at the daughter's fingernails because of the skin she ended up tearing through during the fight, you know? And ultimately, well, the officer was kind of pissed at the withholding evidence part that they did, and basically had his partner uh, cuff uh, cuff her basically. And guess what happened? When the cuffs were on her wrists, she started screaming in pain. Because guess what? Those cuffs were made of silver. And it turns out she's a fucking werewolf. And her mom never told her. And oddly enough, the stepdad was a werewolf too. He knew all along and was kind of pissed that her mom never told her. Um, Considering she actually did tell him. Uh, the girl's mom actually did tell him about her history of being a werewolf and what caused her to be picked out from her pack. And I think that's what had him fall in love with her, married her for all that kinds of shit. And but with her being with the daughter yelling out in pain because of the cuffs, and I am aware I need to be heading out because of the where we are with the video. But I want to finish telling this story, or daydream, I should say. Um, because she was crying out in pain, her stepdad was basically shouting out, "Hey, get those cuffs off her! You can't, um, you can't be doing this to her. This is not her fault." And the officer that basically demanded that she be in cuffs was confused and with what was going on. He was like, "Wait a minute, cuffs aren't supposed to be hurting her." And he was like the stepdad was even saying she's allergic to silver. She can't be touching silver. And when the main officer heard this, he was like, "That doesn't make sense. No one is allergic to silver. The only thing that would make sense if she was allergic to silver is if she was a werewolf, because only werewolves can't touch silver." And he didn't say it aloud, but he was like, "Wait, if she can't touch silver, wouldn't that mean?" And the stepdad was like, "Yes, that's what it means. Please let us go." Um, and he was like, so the stepdad was like super quiet about this, like making sure that their conversation was hushed during her screams. And he was basically saying, "Please let us go. If you let us go, we'll make sure that we never come back. So that neither of us face any charges of what happened here." Um, and the officer basically agreed. Uh, he demanded his partner to let her go, uncuff her, and because she was so weak from being wrapped in silver, um, the stepdad basically hurried to a bush, quickly shifted into a wolf, and his wolf form was huge. By the way, um, taller than the bush, but he leaned down, and the his stepdaughter basically did her best to climb onto him, and he basically just ran off in a random direction. And oddly enough, that random direction led him to her mom's werewolf pack. Uh, and just things went crazy from there. What had me really attached to this story was because I wanted to see what would happen when she does meet her dad, and she ultimately finds out um, that her grandpa was the reason her mom was kicked out of the pack, but no one in the pack knew why. Not even her dad, not even the council, just no one but the alpha knew why, as well as one other person, because the one person, the one wolf that helped her mom escape, um, knew what was going on and didn't think it was fair for her. So the current alpha of the pack happens to be her dad. Um, and when she learns the truth of what happened between her mom and her grandpa, she is basically pissed. And somehow the alpha of the pack finds out that um, a rogue she-wolf is on the territory, and not only that, but she's in heat and happens to be in the log cabin that protects wolves that are in heat. Because somehow the log cabin has all kinds of herbs that hides that scent. And so the alpha thought, hey, why not lure her out um, as a punishment for coming onto his territory without notifying him, even though rogue wolves normally don't do that. But he decides to lure her out by hosting a big feast in the courtyard and making sure that the cooks use every herb imaginable that would basically make the steam of the food go for long, long distances so that the smell would reach her. And it did. Um, Unfortunately, that night was a full moon. So I was like, I wonder if this actually does happen with werewolves. I don't. I mean, I know werewolves are fictional, but it's just out of all the stories that I've read, I've never heard this situation happen, where a she-wolf in heat is able to shift on a full moon when she's never never shifted before. And so when this happens, oh, missing link fact: they deposit their scat in bundles, much like a wild hog, with which they apparently share an identical diet. What? Um, what sakes? I'm on the ladder. It ain't gonna happen. Stop it. Okay. But yeah. So basically, even though she was in heat, for the first time, and also the full moon was out, she was basically gonna be shifting anyway, whether she was in heat or not. And Mother Luna knew this. So when she when she smelled the delicious food, but she she eventually was able to smell that delicious food from the feast. But she was not only in heat; she was angry at her dad, angry at her grandfather, and she was like, you know what? I don't care if it's a trap or not. I want revenge. So she was basically running to the feast, and a full moon came out. Mother Luna helped her out by saying, "Girl, I understand you. I feel you. You are gonna have your revenge." And so basically she shifted in the most painful way imaginable because her first shift. And, well, the moon decided to turn red. Even though blood moons don't happen that often. But Mother Luna knew what was going to happen, and she wanted to make sure the she-wolf, had every advantage possible. So, when she shifted, she didn't become a werewolf, she became a lichen. Because of her alpha blood, obviously. And because she was in heat, and because of the blood moon, her lichen self was basically covered in blood. And when everyone saw what happened when she shifted, which was basically in the middle of the courtyard, everyone basically screamed and stood far, far away from her because they knew what it meant. They immediately knew what was going on because of a prophecy that ran through the pack, basically. That when a lichen shifts for the first time in the blood moon and is covered by blood, the lichen is basically the blood Luna, who will take over the pack and rule with not just fairness but harsh punishment. Um, but anyway, just like that happened, and she gave her father no mercy. She basically picked up her dad with ease. Like, he didn't even bother shifting. But he was kind of freaking out and worried what she would do. But once she had picked up her dad, she basically roared in his face and put one paw over his head and just ripped his head off the body. And because of that, she became the new Luna of the pack. Because if you're not familiar with werewolf territory laws, once you kill an alpha, you're basically the new owner of the pack. It doesn't matter if it was in a challenge or not, or if it was in it doesn't matter if you or the alpha is in a challenge or just in a dumb situation. But he wasn't in a dumb situation, he wasn't in a challenge, he legit was just picked up and killed. And because he was killed anyway, she's a new Luna. And I actually ended up having to tell this daydream to my werewolf boyfriend and Joy, because I legit asked him, like, is it possible for that kind of thing to happen, for Wolf to be in heat on the same night she is supposed to shift for the first time in her life? And he was like, it's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just like, dude, can you just tell me if it is a thing, if it can happen? Like, he would not give me a straight answer. But he definitely was interested in the story. And I'm glad he took interest in it, at least. But man, that daydream was intense. I was actually really enjoying it. But I basically had it that she and her stepdad were soulmates, basically. Because when she was in those iron cuffs, same thing was happening to him. Like, he was feeling the pain of silver on his wrists. Alright, I know I gotta be stopping, but I'm just having too much fun telling this story and also cleaning here. Heck yeah. What the fuck? Why does that happen? Nice, thank you. Night of day. I'm in the corner. Hiding by the corner. Oh. Why is that song suddenly in my head? Alright, I really should be saying goodbye. I just don't know where to stop with this cleaning. I'm enjoying this a little too much. Yeah. Wait a minute. What? Wait, I missed a section. Yeah, I missed that. Alright, we'll do that in the next video. I gotta head out. Because I'm also getting tired. So, yo, that is going to be it for today. Managed to go from 22 to 66 in an hour and 15 minutes, basically. And that's good progress, honestly. I'm surprised how much we got done. If you consider that slow, though, then yikes. I need to work on Actually, I should have used soap. I'm a fucking idiot. I keep forgetting to use soap. That would have made things easier, probably. Whatever. Oh, my back. Okay. Alright, y'all, that's gonna be it for today, as I said. I love you all so much, my beautiful kittens and viewers. If you enjoyed this video as much as I did, smash that like button like a kitten would. And if you're just now tuning into this channel and you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that red subscribe button. Make it that beautiful gray, as well as that bell icon right next to it. That'll notify you of all the videos that I do, which are on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Central, and Sundays, 4:30 p.m. Central. I hope you all have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I am Sweet Rascally Rabbit, reminding you that if your account is on public viewing for content creators, I will be welcoming you to my channel on the community section. And saying goodbye. Stay awesome, and I hope always follow you.
I'm a gamer and running in circles. I'm a rabbit and running in circles. I'm annoying and running in circles. Might as well jump in the hole and be a bunny. Be a bunny!
Man, Actually, you know what? Let's check the percentage on things. Diagonal house rooms. Yeah, that makes sense. Lower deck room joists. Ah, shit. Actually, I think I might know where that is. 69. Nice. Ooh. Oh, he's handrails and steps. Actually, yeah, that makes sense. For deck joists. I have a feeling I know where that is. Undersides? Uh-oh. I'll look into that next in the next video.